My husband's family demanded I host Christmas right after my surgery. Stop being dramatic and cook, my mother-in-law barked over the phone, her voice dripping with that familiar condescension I'd grown to despise over the years. I smiled sweetly, even though she couldn't see me, and happily agreed to every single one of her outrageous demands. But when they walked through my front door on Christmas Day, their jaws dropped at what they found waiting for them. They thought I was their personal chef, their holiday host, their doormat to be stepped on whenever convenient. But the day they demanded Christmas dinner, just 2 weeks after major abdominal surgery, something inside me didn't just break. It ignited into a fiery, unforgettable plan that would change everything forever. The pain hit me like a lightning bolt when I just tried to reach for the TV remote. 2 weeks after major abdominal surgery, and I still couldn't do the simplest things without feeling like I was being stabbed from the inside out. Every movement sent sharp reminders through my body that I was supposed to be resting, healing, recovering. I pressed my hand against the bandages beneath my sweater, breathing through gritted teeth until the spasm passed. The doctors had been crystal clear about my restrictions. No lifting anything heavier than a coffee cup, no standing for more than 10 minutes at a time, no strenuous activity of any kind for at least 6 weeks. That's when Raymond walked in, scrolling through his phone like he hadn't even noticed me wincing in pain on the couch. His eyes were glued to the screen, his thumb moving mechanically as he scrolled through whatever mindless content had captured his attention this time. "Mom just called," he said, not looking up from his phone, his voice casual as if he were commenting on the weather. "They're all coming here for Christmas dinner." My name is Victoria, and in that precise moment, something inside me finally snapped. Not loudly, not obviously, but with a quiet, chilling click that echoed through my entire being. It was the sound of years of patience finally running out, of tolerance reaching its absolute limit. "What do you mean they're all coming here?" I kept my voice steady, but my hands were shaking as I gripped the arm of the couch. "Ray, I can barely stand up for more than 10 minutes without feeling like I'm going to pass out." He glanced up briefly, his eyes meeting mine for just a second before returning to his phone. "Mom said she'll handle the decorations. You just need to do the cooking and hosting part. You know how she is about traditional Christmas dinner. She's very particular about these things." "I just had surgery," I repeated, louder this time, my voice rising with disbelief. "Major surgery, Raymond. The doctor specifically said no lifting, no standing for long periods, no stress. Do you even remember what the surgeon told us?" "Come on, Vic, don't be dramatic." He waved his hand, dismissively, as if my legitimate medical concerns were nothing more than inconvenient theatrics. "Mom does it all the time, and she's got arthritis. If she can manage with joint pain, surely you can handle a little cooking." The comparison was so absurd, so fundamentally ignorant of basic medical reality, that I almost laughed. Comparing arthritis to major abdominal surgery was like comparing a paper cut to a stab wound. But before I could even formulate a response, the phone rang, cutting through the tension in the room. Speaking of the devil, Ava's name flashed on the screen like a warning signal. Raymond tossed me the phone without a second thought and walked out of the room, leaving me to deal with his mother alone as usual. "Victoria, good. You're there." Ava's voice dripped with that sickeningly false sweetness she always used when she wanted something. "I'm thinking ham this year, not turkey. And make sure you do those little pastry things everyone loved last time. Summer specifically requested them. You know the ones I mean, right?" "Ava, I tried to interject, but she steamrolled right over me. "And proper table settings, dear, not like last Easter when you used paper napkins. What was that about? We're not barbarians. I expect cloth napkins, the good silverware, and proper china. First impressions matter, even for family." "I had the flu last Easter," I said quietly, trying to remind her of the context she'd conveniently forgotten. "Remember? I could barely get out of bed, but you insisted we couldn't cancel because you'd already told your bridge club about it." "Oh, stop being dramatic and cook. It's Christmas." She laughed, that horrible tinkling laugh that always made my skin crawl, like wind chimes made of broken glass. I'll bring the good china since yours is so ordinary. You just focus on the food. There will be 7 of us, plus Kylie. She's very particular about her food now, you know. No vegetables touching the meat. She's at that age where presentation matters to her. The call ended before I could protest further. I sat there staring at my phone, a flood of memories washing over me like a tidal wave of accumulated resentment. All the other holidays, all the times I'd cooked through migraines, through flu, through impossible work deadlines and personal crises. That time I had food poisoning, but still had to host Raymond's birthday dinner because, you know, it's tradition, and Mom already bought him that special cake. My phone buzzed again, pulling me from my thoughts. A text from Summer, Raymond's sister. Mom says you're doing Christmas. Don't mess it up this year, okay? Last year's turkey was kind of dry. Just saying. I stood up slowly, carefully, using the arm of the couch for support, and made my way to the bathroom mirror. Each step was a calculated effort, a reminder of the surgery that had left me weak and vulnerable. The woman staring back at me looked tired, pale, with dark circles under her eyes that makeup couldn't hide anymore. But for the first time in years, I saw something else there too. Something that made me smile despite the pain radiating through my abdomen. A spark of rebellion, a glimmer of defiance, a woman who was done being walked all over. Fine, I whispered to my reflection, my voice steady and determined. Let's cook something unforgettable. I reached for my phone again, this time dialing a different number. A number I should have called years ago. It's me, I said when my best friend answered. Remember when you said I should stop letting them walk all over me? I think I'm finally ready to listen. About damn time. Ree's voice was warm with concern and something else. Pride, maybe. What did they do now? They want Christmas dinner, 2 weeks after my surgery, the full spread, all the traditional dishes, perfect presentation, the works. They what? Ree's outrage was exactly what I needed to hear. Validation that I wasn't being unreasonable or oversensitive. Oh, hell no. Tell them to shove their ham where the sun doesn't shine. Actually, I interrupted, my smile growing wider despite the pain. I think I'm going to give them exactly what they deserve. But I need your help. I'm listening? I could hear the excitement building in Ree's voice. First, I need you to find every takeout place that delivers on Christmas Day. I paused, touching my surgery scar gently through my sweater, feeling the tender skin beneath the fabric. And then I need you to help me plan the best revenge Christmas dinner ever served. Ree's laughter was delicious, rich, and full of anticipation. Oh, honey, this is going to be good. This is going to be so incredibly good. From downstairs, I could hear Raymond talking to his mother on the phone again, probably already planning how to rearrange my furniture for optimal dinner party flow. His voice drifted up the stairs, casual and unconcerned, discussing centerpiece options as if I hadn't just told him I could barely stand. Let them plan, I thought. Let them demand. Let them assume I'll just roll over and comply like I always have. I opened my laptop and started making lists, but not of recipes or grocery items. These were different kinds of lists. Lists of everything I'd been saving, screenshots I'd been keeping, receipts I'd been documenting quietly for years, every dismissive comment, every ignored medical issue, every holiday I'd hosted while sick or exhausted or overwhelmed. Every time Raymond had chosen his mother's comfort over my well-being. Every time Summer had criticized my efforts while contributing nothing. Every time Ava had treated me like hired help instead of family. This Christmas dinner would be my masterpiece, my liberation, my goodbye to a family that had never truly welcomed me, and they wouldn't see it coming until it was too late. Okay, we've got Chinese, Thai, Indian, and that new Mediterranean place, Ray said the next day, spreading takeout menus across my coffee table like she was dealing cards. All confirmed they're delivering on Christmas Day. I had to promise the Indian place a $100 tip, but they're in. The Thai place was actually excited about it. Apparently, they love delivering on holidays because the tips are better. I shifted carefully on the couch, adjusting my position to ease the constant ache that had become my unwelcome companion. Perfect! Order extra menus from each place. I want to wallpaper the dining room with them. You're evil, Ree said, grinning at me with pure delight. I absolutely love it. "How's the pain today?" she asked, her expression shifting to concern. "Worth every minute of what's coming," I replied honestly. The pain was still there, still sharp and unforgiving, but now it fueled something else: determination, resolve, justice. My phone buzzed with another text from Ava. "Don't forget the cranberry sauce must be homemade. None of that canned nonsense. And Raymond mentioned you've been ordering a lot of takeout lately. That won't do for Christmas. We need real food, dear." I showed the text to Ree, who rolled her eyes so dramatically I thought they might get stuck. "Has she forgotten you literally had your insides rearranged 2 weeks ago?" "Bold of you to assume she ever knew in the first place," I said, pulling out a folder labeled medical and adding my latest hospital bill to it. Raymond told her it was just a minor procedure, like getting a tooth pulled or something equally trivial. Speaking of bills, Ree handed me a glossy brochure for a recovery retreat. "I found that place you asked about. It's perfect. Private cabin, medical staff on call, peaceful lake view, very healing from trauma vibe. Book it for December 25th through New Year's," I said, smiling as I imagined the silence, the peace, the absolute fury when they realized I wasn't coming back to clean up their mess. My phone rang again. Summer this time, right on schedule. "Victoria, Mom says you're being difficult about the menu." Summer's voice had that familiar condescending tone that made my teeth clench. "Look, just do what she wants. You know how she gets when things aren't perfect. It's easier for everyone if you just comply." "You're right, Summer. I do know how she gets." I kept my voice honey sweet, practicing the tone I'd use on Christmas Day. "Don't worry. Everything will be exactly what everyone deserves this year." After hanging up, I carefully stood and walked to the kitchen where Raymond was making coffee. He didn't offer to make me any, didn't ask if I needed anything, didn't even acknowledge my presence until I spoke. "The credit card statement came," I said casually, setting the hospital bill on the counter where he couldn't miss it. "Could you double check if your card is working? Mine keeps getting declined." "Probably because you keep ordering takeout," he muttered, but he picked up the bill anyway. His eyes widened slightly at the total, the first real reaction I'd gotten from him in days. "Jesus, Vic, did you really need all these procedures?" "No, Ray, I got them for fun," I said, turning away to hide my smile. "Thought I'd spend our savings on unnecessary surgery just for the thrill of it." First breadcrumb dropped. That afternoon, Ree helped me pack a small suitcase while I told her about last Thanksgiving. The memory still made me feel sick. I had a 102-degree fever, but Ava insisted we couldn't cancel. Said she'd already bought the turkey and told her friends we were hosting. I cooked for 6 hours straight, then spent the night throwing up while they watched football downstairs. And Raymond told me to keep it down because the game was on. Re-zipped the suitcase with unnecessary force. I hope they choke on their takeout. They won't. I checked my email confirmation for the retreat. They'll be too busy choking on their own entitled expectations. The doorbell rang, another delivery arriving. "Vic, dinner again?" Raymond called up from downstairs. "Seriously, you're ordering in every night now." "Still recovering, honey," I called back sweetly. "Doctor's orders, remember those? The orders from the medical professional who performed major surgery on me?" "You managed breakfast this morning just fine," he grumbled. I shared a look with Ree. He hadn't noticed that breakfast had been from the cafe down the street, carefully plated on our dishes to look homemade. He hadn't noticed anything in 2 weeks except that I was being less emotional about everything, which he seemed to interpret as improvement rather than detachment. "The retreat is confirmed," Ree whispered, showing me her phone. "Paid in full from your secret account. They have a Christmas dinner planned, by the way. Actual chefs who aren't recovering from major surgery will be preparing it." I touched my scar gently through my sweater. 2 more weeks of this, then freedom. "You sure you don't want to just tell them all to—" Ree started, but I cut her off. "That's not how karma works," I said, smiling. "They need to feel it, really feel it. The same way I felt every time they treated me like their personal servant instead of family." My phone buzzed again. Ava had sent a group text to the whole family, another one of her infamous announcements. "Victoria has graciously agreed to host Christmas. Summer's bringing the good china. I'll handle decorations. Victoria will do the rest, as tradition demands. Don't be late, dinner at 2 p.m. sharp." I showed Ree the text. She started laughing so hard she had to sit down on my bed, clutching her stomach. "Oh my God," she wheezed. "They really have no idea what's coming." "Nope." I saved the text as more evidence. "But they will. One perfectly catered takeout meal at a time." From downstairs, I could hear Raymond on the phone with his mother again, probably planning where to put the Christmas tree I wouldn't be decorating. Sit. Then plan their perfect holiday. Let them assume I'll bend to their will one more time. I had my own plans, and they were already in motion. Plans that would teach them a lesson they'd never forget. Ava burst through my front door without knocking 3 days before Christmas, arms full of garland and decorations. "Victoria, why isn't the tree up yet? Christmas is in 3 days. This house looks absolutely bare." I didn't move from my spot on the couch where I was carefully documenting every text and email on my laptop, building my case one screenshot at a time. "Hello, Ava. I've put up a wreath and some candles. That's all I can manage right now given my physical limitations." She dropped the decorations on my coffee table with a dramatic huff that made her sound like an exasperated teenager. "Honestly, dear, this attitude of yours is getting tiresome. One little surgery and you're acting like you're made of glass. My friend Helen had her gallbladder out and was back to normal in a week." I pulled out my phone and discreetly hit record, adding this conversation to my growing collection. "Would you like to see the surgical site?" I asked sweetly, my hand moving toward the hem of my sweater. "The doctor says it's healing nicely despite being quite extensive. I could show you exactly what one little surgery looks like." "Don't be crude," she said quickly, turning away and starting to drape garland over my bookshelves without permission. "Now, about the appetizers. Summer specifically requested those little crab puffs you made last year. You know, the ones with the cream cheese? She's been talking about them for months." My phone buzzed with a text from Summer herself, as if they'd coordinated their assault. "Mom says you're being difficult again. Don't embarrass us this year. Just do what she asks." I took a screenshot, added it to my growing folder labeled Christmas Karma, and smiled. "I'll make sure everyone gets exactly what they're craving." Ava turned from her unauthorized redecorating, hands on hips in that authoritative pose she'd perfected over decades of getting her way. "And the house? It's practically bare. Where's your holiday spirit? Where are the decorations, the festive touches, the warmth?" "Right here," I said, patting my surgery site. The movement sent a sharp pain through my abdomen, and I winced involuntarily. But Ava was too busy rearranging my furniture to notice my discomfort, too focused on her vision of perfection to see my pain. The front door opened again without warning. Raymond walked in with Kylie, my teenage niece, both of them tracking snow across my clean floors. "Oh, Aunt Victoria." Kylie wrinkled her nose as she looked around my living room. "Your house looks so boring this year. Mom says you're being lazy about Christmas." "Hello to you too, Kylie," I said, taking another screenshot of this moment for my mental collection. "How's school going?" "Whatever." She flopped onto my carefully positioned recovery chair, the one I'd arranged at the perfect angle to minimize pain. "Mom says we better not get stuck eating takeout like when you had the flu that one time." That was so embarrassing. Raymond shot me a warning look, his eyes telling me to behave, to not make waves. "Victoria's been ordering a lot of takeout lately. But she'll cook for Christmas, right, honey? You'll make everything perfect like you always do?" "Everything will be perfectly arranged," I assured them, watching Ava mess up my carefully organized bookshelf, pulling out books and rearranging them by color instead of the system I preferred. "Everyone will get exactly what they deserve." After they finally left, Ava to buy more decorations I hadn't asked for, Kylie complaining about being bored, Raymond to work late as usual, I called Ree immediately. "They just left," I said as soon as she answered. "Ava redecorated my entire living room in 45 minutes without asking. Kylie called my house boring. Raymond gave me warning looks the whole time." "Please tell me you got it all on video," Ree said. "Ring doorbell camera, phone recordings, and screenshots," I confirmed. "But I need your help with phase 2. Can you come over right now?" An hour later, Ray and I were putting the finishing touches on my masterpiece. She held up the printed note I'd carefully worded over the past week, reading it aloud with growing delight. "To my beloved in-laws," she read, grinning widely. Enjoy choosing your meal. All are prepaid. I'm resting for surgical necessity. You may direct complaints to the surgeon's office if unsatisfied. Happy holidays. It's beautiful, Ree said. Evil, but beautiful, like revenge poetry. The takeout menus are all ready? I asked, checking my retreat confirmation for the 100th time. Printed extras of each one, Ray confirmed. We'll tape them up Christmas morning before they arrive. The whole dining room will be a shrine to takeout options. Ree helped me pack the last few items into my getaway bag, carefully folding clothes I'd selected for my week of freedom. Your cabin is stocked with actual Christmas dinner, by the way. The retreat chef is making turkey and everything. Real food, prepared by someone who isn't recovering from surgery. My phone buzzed again. Corbin this time, Raymond's brother, joining the chorus of expectations. Hey, sis-in-law, heard you're doing Christmas again. Hope it's better than last year's disaster. That turkey was dry as hell. I showed Ree the text. She made a gagging noise. Remember last year? I said, the memory still bitter. When he complained that the turkey was too dry while I was literally running a fever from working 60-hour weeks and Raymond said nothing? Just sat there nodding like Corbin had a valid point? Not this time. Ree's voice was hard with determination. This time, everyone's getting their just desserts. Via delivery. The front door opened again. Raymond was home early. Unusual for him. I quickly shoved the getaway bag into the guest room closet while Ree distracted him. Hey, Ray, she called out cheerfully. Just helping Victoria with some Christmas prep. Girl stuff, you know. Great, he muttered, barely looking up from his phone. Mom's worried you're not taking this seriously, Vic. She says the house looks empty and unwelcoming. I shared a knowing look with Ree, a look that said everything we couldn't speak aloud. Don't worry, honey. Everything's been carefully planned. It's going to be a Christmas no one forgets. I promise you that. After Raymond went upstairs, Ree hugged me gently, mindful of my surgery site. 3 more days, she whispered. Then you're free. I touched the single Christmas wreath on my wall, the only decoration I'd allowed myself to put up. It was perfect in its simplicity, just like my plan. 3 days, I agreed. Then they learn what happens when you push someone too far. My phone lit up with another demanding text from Ava, but I didn't bother reading it anymore. Soon, very soon, they'd all learn that karma doesn't just come around on its own. Sometimes it gets delivered, wrapped in takeout containers with a side of reality check. Christmas Eve arrived with a quiet tension that filled my house like fog. The house was silent, except for the hum of the heating system, and Raymond snoring from upstairs, oblivious to everything as usual. I sat in the kitchen eating soup, watching Home Alone on my tablet. The irony wasn't lost on me. A movie about a kid left behind, forgotten, having to defend himself, oddly fitting given tomorrow's plans. The kitchen gleamed, spotless and unused. No prep work, no pre-made dishes, no thawing turkey taking up space in my refrigerator. Just empty counters and the stack of takeout menus hidden in my bag, waiting for their moment of glory. My phone lit up with Ava's 10th text of the day. Don't forget to set the turkey out to thaw, and make sure you're up early. The potatoes take forever to peel. You'll need to start by 6 a.m. at the latest. I took another screenshot for my collection and sipped my soup slowly, savoring both the warmth and the anticipation. The doorbell rang softly, a gentle sound in the quiet house. Ree, right on schedule. Ready for the final prep? She whispered as I let her in. She carried a roll of tape and a folder full of freshly printed menus, each one carefully selected and formatted. Almost, I said, lifting my sweater slightly to show her the surgery site. The scar was still red, still tender, still a visible reminder of what they'd dismissed as nothing. Think I should leave this uncovered tomorrow? Really drive home the point? Absolutely. Ree started laying out menus on the dining room table, arranging them like place settings. Let them see exactly what they've been ignoring. Let them see what stop being dramatic really means. My phone buzzed again, Summer this time, her message dripping with passive-aggressive concern. Mom's freaking out because you haven't answered her texts. You better not be sleeping. There's too much to do. She's been up since 5 planning everything. They're going to lose their minds tomorrow, Ree said carefully, taping up the first menu to my dining room wall. Are you absolutely sure you don't want me to film it? I could hide in the closet or something. The Ring camera will catch everything, I assured her. Besides, I'll be long gone by then, safely tucked away at the retreat, eating real Christmas dinner made by people who actually care about my well-being. We worked quietly, methodically, covering the dining room walls with takeout menus. Chinese food next to Thai, next to Indian, next to Mediterranean. A feast of options, all prepaid with Raymond's credit card. My last gift to the family, purchased with our joint account that he never bothered to check. Remember Thanksgiving 3 years ago? I asked, watching rearrange the menus in perfectly straight lines. When Ava insisted I make 3 different types of pie because Kylie couldn't decide what she wanted? And then Kylie didn't eat any of them because she was suddenly watching her carbs? Ree shook her head, her expression darkening with the memory. How much did you spend on ingredients that year? About $100, I said, smiling now at the poetic justice of it all. Tomorrow's takeout budget? $500 plus generous tips from Raymond's credit card. From upstairs, Raymond's snoring stuttered for a moment. We both froze, holding our breath, but the rhythm resumed. He hadn't stirred all evening, hadn't noticed me packing, hadn't asked about dinner preparations, hadn't shown even the slightest interest in my well-being or the massive undertaking he'd agreed to on my behalf. Your getaway bag is in my car, Ree whispered. Retreat address programmed into the GPS. New phone number activated. You're really doing this. Watch me, I said firmly, pulling out my phone to check my messages one last time before I stopped caring forever. Ava, don't disappoint us tomorrow. This is important. Summer, Kylie wants the ham cut in perfect squares this year. She saw it on Pinterest. Corbin, better not mess up like last Christmas. Still remember that dry turkey. Raymond, nothing. As usual. Help me with the final touch, I asked Ree, pulling out the carefully worded note I'd printed earlier. We placed it in the center of the dining room table, weighted down with a single Christmas ornament, the one Raymond's mother had given me our first Christmas together. For the family's newest servant, she joked when she handed it to me. I hadn't found it funny then. I found it hilarious now. What time are they arriving tomorrow? Ree asked, adjusting the note one last time to make sure it was perfectly centered. 1 p.m. sharp, I said. Ava insists on punctuality when it's other people's time she's managing. Her own time is flexible, of course. I checked my watch. I'll be gone by 10:30, long before they arrive. My phone buzzed again with a final text from Ava. Everything better be perfect tomorrow. Don't be late with the ham. We're all counting on you. Ree read the text over my shoulder and snorted. Should we tell them the ham will be perfectly square in little takeout containers? Let it be a surprise, I said, taking one last look around the dining room at the menus covering every wall like wallpaper. They wanted dinner. They're getting dinner, just not the kind they expected. They wanted tradition, Ree corrected, hugging me carefully. They're getting karma. After she left, I stood in the silent kitchen for a long moment, absorbing the weight of what I was about to do. Tomorrow this room would be filled with shocked voices, angry accusations, entitled demands echoing off the walls. But I wouldn't be here to hear them. I'd be miles away, safe and peaceful, finally putting myself first. I touched my surgery scar one last time, remembering every holiday I'd cooked through pain, every celebration I'd hosted while sick, every demand I'd met while being treated like furniture instead of family. The memories didn't hurt anymore. They fueled me. Upstairs, Raymond's snoring continued, oblivious to what was coming, oblivious to everything as always. Let him sleep soundly tonight. Let them all rest easy, confident in their expectations. Tomorrow they'd learn what happens when you push someone too far, when you mistake kindness for weakness, when you treat family like staff. I headed up to bed, pausing at the dining room doorway for one last look at our masterpiece. The menus gleamed in the dim light, a paper testimony to years of being taken for granted. Tomorrow they would speak louder than I ever could. Merry Christmas to all, I whispered, smiling at the chaos to come. And to all, a good night. Christmas morning dawned bright and cold, sunlight streaming through my bedroom window like a spotlight on my liberation. I dressed carefully, deliberately, like a woman preparing for the most important performance of her life. A loose sweater that wouldn't irritate my surgery site, comfortable pants for the drive ahead, and my nicest shoes. After all, one should dress appropriately when serving revenge. Raymond had already left early to pick up his parents from their house across town. He hadn't even asked about breakfast, hadn't checked if I needed help with anything, hadn't so much as glanced at the empty kitchen that should have been filled with cooking chaos by now. At 10:15, Ree's car pulled into my driveway, right on schedule. "You look amazing," she said as I slipped into the passenger seat, my getaway bag already waiting in the back, like a woman about to burn her life down in the most elegant way possible. "That's exactly what I am," I replied, checking my phone one last time before leaving it all behind. Multiple texts already filled my screen. Ava, "On our way, kitchen better be warm and smelling delicious." Summer, "Just left home, Kylie's starving so food better be ready when we arrive." Corbin, "Hope you didn't overcook the ham this year. Last time it was like shoe leather." I turned my phone to silent and tucked it away in my purse. Let them text into the void. Let them wonder why I'm not responding with my usual anxious reassurances. At 10:45, we parked around the corner from my house, close enough to watch, but far enough to remain unseen. Through the Ring camera app on my tablet, I watched Ava's car pull up to my house, followed quickly by Summer's SUV. "Right on time," I murmured. Ava does love her punctuality, at least when it comes to other people being ready for her. We watched as they gathered on the porch, arms full of presents and decorations they'd brought without asking. Ava tried the front door, finding it still locked. Her face registered confusion, then annoyance. "Where's Victoria?" Summer's voice came clearly through the camera speaker. "Mom, I thought you said she'd be ready. The door's locked." Raymond unlocked the door with his key, and they all piled in, voices echoing through my empty house like an invading army. "Victoria?" Ava called out, her voice sharp with irritation. "Where's the food? Why isn't anything cooking? I don't smell anything." "Something's wrong," Raymond said, and I could hear the first hint of worry in his voice. "The kitchen's cold. No pots on the stove, nothing." "The dining room," Kylie's voice suggested. "Maybe she set everything up in there already." The camera caught their faces perfectly as they entered the dining room. Ava's mouth dropped open, her expression shifting from confusion to shock to fury in rapid succession. Summer actually stumbled backward, nearly dropping the china she'd brought. Raymond went pale, his face draining of color as he processed what he was seeing. "What? What is this?" Ava sputtered, staring at the takeout menu-covered walls, spinning in a circle as if she couldn't believe what surrounded her. Corbin picked up the note from the table, reading it aloud with growing disbelief. "To my beloved in-laws, enjoy choosing your meal. All are prepaid. I'm resting for surgical necessity. You may direct complaints to the surgeon's office if unsatisfied. Happy holidays." "Is this a joke?" Summer shrieked, her voice reaching a pitch that probably scared the neighbors. "Where is she? Victoria! This isn't funny." Raymond pulled out his phone, probably seeing my text for the first time today. I'd sent it at exactly 10 a.m., timed perfectly. "I'm off to reclaim my peace. Forward any leftover egg rolls to the clinic. Enjoy your Christmas dinner. All options are paid for. Choose wisely." "She can't do this." Ava was turning red, her face flushing with anger and embarrassment. "It's Christmas. We're family. You don't abandon family on Christmas." "Family?" I whispered to Ree, watching their meltdown unfold on my screen. Time to show them what family really means. I pulled out my phone and sent the mass text I'd prepared, the one I'd written and rewritten a dozen times to get exactly right. "Since you're all wondering where I am, I'm taking care of myself for once. Check your emails. You'll find photos of my surgery site, medical bills, and recordings of every demanding call and text you've sent while I was recovering, plus a few greatest hits from previous holidays. Dinner's on Raymond's credit card. Enjoy." Through the camera, we watched them grab their phones as the notifications came through. Ava's face went from red to white in seconds. Summer sat down hard in a dining room chair, staring at her phone screen. Raymond looked like he might actually be sick. She recorded us. Summer's voice shook with disbelief and something else. Fear, maybe, or shame. All of us. Everything. The surgery. Ava was staring at her phone, scrolling through the photos I'd sent. It wasn't minor at all. Raymond, you said it was just a small procedure. You said she was exaggerating. I didn't know, Raymond stammered, his voice weak. She never said, I said it every day. I texted back immediately. You never listen. None of you did, but now you have no choice. Ree started the car, grinning at me. Ready to go? One last thing, I said, typing out my final text to them. Oh, and Ava, don't worry about tradition. I'm starting a new one. It's called Respecting Myself. Merry Christmas. As we pulled away, I could see them through the dining room window, still standing among the takeout menus like actors frozen in a play. 7 entitled people who'd finally been served exactly what they deserved. To the retreat? Ree asked, turning onto the highway. To freedom, I corrected, feeling lighter than I had in years, feeling like I could actually breathe fully for the first time in my marriage. And real Christmas dinner with people who actually care if I'm in pain. My phone was blowing up with notifications, the screen lighting up constantly with incoming messages. But I didn't check them. Let them rage. Let them threaten. Let them finally feel what it's like to be helpless and ignored on a holiday. I touched my surgery scar gently through my sweater, remembering all the times I'd pushed through pain to meet their demands. Not anymore. Never again. You know what the best part is? I said to Ree as we drove away from my old life. They'll have to clean up after themselves for once. All those takeout containers, all those menus on the walls. They'll have to deal with their own mess. We both laughed, the sound filling the car with joy and relief. Now that's what I call a Christmas miracle, Ree said. I leaned back in my seat, watching my house disappear in the rearview mirror, getting smaller and smaller until it was just another building in the distance. Somewhere behind us, my in-laws were discovering that karma, like revenge, is a dish best served with a side of takeout. And I was finally free. The retreat's main lodge looked like something straight out of a Christmas card. All warm lights and wooden beams dusted with fresh snow. Inside, the receptionist smiled warmly as she checked me in, her kindness a stark contrast to what I'd left behind. Welcome, Victoria. We've got you in Lakeside Cabin 3. It's perfect for recovery and reflection. Very peaceful. Very private. My phone buzzed for the 100th time since we'd left. I glanced at it briefly, unable to resist checking their reactions. Ava, how dare you embarrass us like this, after everything we've done for you? Summer, Mom's crying. I hope you're happy. You've ruined Christmas for everyone. Raymond, please come home. We can fix this. Just come back and we'll talk. Corbin, real mature, running away on Christmas. Grow up. Would you like us to hold your phone during your stay? The receptionist offered kindly. Many of our guests find it helpful for healing. We encourage digital detox. No thanks, I smiled, feeling powerful for the first time in years. I'm actually enjoying the messages now. They're like little reminders that I made the right choice. In my cabin, Ray helped me unpack while I checked my email. Summer had already posted a vague Facebook rant about ungrateful family members ruining Christmas. The post was getting traction, but not the kind she'd hoped for. Look at this, Ree said, showing me her phone. She'd been monitoring the neighborhood Facebook group. Ava's trying to rally support, but it's backfiring spectacularly. Someone just asked why they made a woman cook 2 weeks after major surgery. The comments are savage. My phone rang. Raymond again, persistent as always. This time I decided to answer. Where are you? He demanded, his voice tight with frustration and something that might have been panic. Somewhere peaceful, I replied calmly, my voice steady and sure. How's the takeout? Did everyone find something they liked? This isn't funny, Victoria, he said, and I could hear voices arguing in the background. Mom's devastated. Summer's kids are crying because there's no real Christmas dinner. You ruined Christmas. No, Ray, I said, my voice hardening. You ruined it years ago. Every time you watch me cook while sick. every time you ignored my pain, every time you chose their comfort over my health. This is just the first time you've had to face the consequences. That's not, he started, but I interrupted. Check your email again, I said. I just sent you the video from last Thanksgiving. The one where I'm clearly feverish while your mother demands more gravy, and you just sit there nodding. Watch it. Really watch it. Silence on the other end. Heavy, uncomfortable silence. I've got to go, I said, my voice light and free. My actual Christmas dinner is ready. The kind I don't have to cook. The kind prepared by people who care about my well-being. I hung up as Ree returned from the main lodge, her eyes sparkling with mischief. You won't believe this, she said, barely containing her laughter. Summer's trying to get people to boycott all the restaurants that delivered today. She's posting their names on Facebook, calling them holiday homewreckers. Of course she is, I said, checking my messages again. Ava had sent a novel-length text about tradition and family values, about how disappointed she was, about how I'd changed. Oh, and your doctor called, Ree added, her expression shifting to satisfaction. Ava tried to file a complaint about your unnecessary medical restrictions. Dr. Brooks shut that down fast. Apparently, she threatened to report Ava for harassment if she contacts the office again. My phone buzzed with a new message, this time from Kylie. Mom says you're having a mental breakdown. Are you? Because this seems pretty crazy. I showed Ree the text, and we both laughed. Should I tell her I'm having a breakthrough instead? I asked. Tell her you're having dinner, Ree grinned. Speaking of which, let's go. We headed to the main lodge's dining room. The table was beautifully set with real china, cloth napkins, and fresh flowers. Other guests were already gathering, their conversations quiet and pleasant. No one demanded anything. No one complained. No one treated the staff like servants. Just quiet conversation. And delicious food I hadn't had to prepare. My phone lit up with another call from Raymond. I watched it ring, then turned it face down on the table. Still not answering? Ree asked. No need, I said, feeling peaceful. I've said everything I needed to say, with menus. After dinner, back in my cabin, I finally read through all the messages that had accumulated. Ava had progressed from anger to bargaining, her texts becoming increasingly desperate. If you come back now, we can forget this happened. I'll even help with the cleanup. Please, Victoria, think of the family. Summer had moved on to threats, her messages getting more aggressive. Mom's talking about lawyers. She says you stole from Raymond by using his credit card. Hope you're ready for legal consequences. Raymond just kept sending variations of the same message. Please come home. We can work this out. I promise things will be different. I opened my laptop and typed a single response, sending it to all of them. I'm not coming back. Not to the house, not to the cooking, not to the demands. I'm healing from surgery and from years of being taken for granted. Don't contact my doctor again. Don't threaten legal action you can't follow through on. The credit card is joint, and I have documentation of everything. And don't expect me to ever cook for you again. The menus are yours to keep. Frame them if you want. Merry Christmas. Think they'll get it? Ree asked, reading over my shoulder. They'll have to, I said, closing the laptop with finality. I've got an appointment with a divorce lawyer next week. This isn't just about Christmas dinner. This is about my entire life. My phone buzzed one last time. Ava again, her message dripping with venom. You ungrateful girl. After everything we've done for you. After we welcomed you into our family. This is how you repay us? I laughed, actually laughed out loud, and showed Ree the message. Everything they've done for me, I said, shaking my head. They've done exactly one thing. They've shown me exactly who they are, and now I'm showing them exactly who I am. And who's that? Ree asked, smiling. I looked around my peaceful cabin, at the lake view through the window, at the remains of the dinner I'd enjoyed without cooking a single dish. I thought about the woman I'd been this morning, nervous but determined, and the woman I was now, free and unafraid. Someone who finally learned to serve herself first, I said. Outside, snow began to fall softly, covering everything in a blanket of white. Somewhere across town, my in-laws were probably still sitting among takeout menus, trying to understand how they'd lost control of their holiday servant. But here, in my quiet cabin, I was exactly where I needed to be. Healing, resting, free. My phone buzzed again, but I didn't check it. Whatever they were saying didn't matter anymore. I'd served my last holiday dinner, cooked my last meal under duress, and my first taste of freedom was absolutely delicious. 1 week after Christmas, I walked into my house at 7 a.m. Ulsheim with my lawyer Andy beside me. I'd chosen the time deliberately, early enough that Raymond would still be home, probably because he'd been suspended from work after his coworkers had somehow gotten wind of my Christmas dinner story and shared it around the office. He jumped up from the couch when we entered, looking haggard and unshaven. "Victoria, finally," he said, relief flooding his face. "We need to talk about—" "No," Andy interrupted smoothly, his professional voice cutting through Raymond's desperation. "You need to sit down and listen. That's all." I set my bag on the counter and pulled out a folder, thick with documentation. "These are divorce papers, Ray. I've already signed them. Your turn." "Divorce?" His face went pale, all the blood draining away. "You can't be serious over one dinner? Over takeout menus?" "One dinner?" I pulled out my phone and played one of Ava's voicemails from Christmas Day. The volume turned up, so every word was crystal clear. "How dare you humiliate us like this after everything we've done for you? You ungrateful little—" The message cut off there, but the venom was unmistakable. "That's just mom being mom," Raymond protested weakly. But there was no conviction in his voice anymore. "Exactly," I said, laying out more papers across the coffee table. Medical bills, screenshots, photos of my surgery site in various stages of healing. "That's the problem. Here's every holiday I've hosted while sick, every demand they made while I was recovering, every time you chose their comfort over my health, every time you stood by and watched them treat me like hired help. I never—" he started, but I cut him off. "December 12th. I read from my phone, pulling up saved text messages. "Your text. Stop being dramatic about the surgery. Mom needs help with Christmas shopping." December 15th. "Can't you just make dinner? You're already home all day anyway." December 24th. "Mom's counting on you. Don't let her down." "Okay. Okay." Raymond slumped back onto the couch, defeated. "But divorce? Really? Can't we just go to counseling or something?" Andy stepped forward, professional and intimidating in his perfectly pressed suit. "My client is requesting an equitable division of assets, including the house. She has documentation supporting her case, including evidence of emotional distress and medical neglect." "The house?" Raymond shot up again, anger replacing defeat. "You can't take the house. My parents helped with the down payment." "Actually," I smiled, feeling powerful, "I can. Check your email." He grabbed his phone, his face darkening as he read through the documentation Andy had sent. You recorded everything, every conversation, every demand, every—" "Ring cameras are amazing," I said calmly. "They caught every time your family barged in uninvited, every demanding conversation, every time you watched me struggle after surgery without offering to help, every time you prioritized their wants over my needs." "That's not fair," he said, but his voice lacked conviction. "Neither was making me host 2 weeks after major surgery," I replied, laying another paper on the coffee table. "Here's a statement from my doctor about the medical risks you put me under. She's willing to testify if necessary." Raymond's phone buzzed. Ava's name flashed on the screen, her timing impeccable as always. "Don't answer that," Andy advised. "Not unless you want your mother's reaction recorded too. She's already done enough damage." "She's already done enough damage," I repeated. "Did you know she tried to file a complaint against my doctor? Claimed I was exaggerating my surgery, that the restrictions were unnecessary. My surgeon had to threaten legal action to make her stop." Raymond stared at the divorce papers spread across our coffee table, his hands shaking slightly. "Where are you even staying?" "Somewhere safe," I replied, keeping my location private. "Somewhere without demanding in-laws and takeout menus on the walls. Somewhere I can actually heal." His phone buzzed again. Summer this time, her text visible on his screen. "Mom's freaking out. Is Victoria there? Make her apologize. Fix this. You should know, Andy said professionally, pulling out his own phone, that any attempts at harassment or retaliation will be documented. The Ring cameras stay active until the divorce is finalized, and we're monitoring all social media activity. And after that? Raymond asked quietly. After the divorce is final? After that, I said, touching my surgery scar through my sweater, feeling the ridge of healing tissue. I never want to see any of you again. No more holidays, no more demands, no more pretending we're family when I was really just your personal chef and punching bag. The front door burst open without warning. Ava stormed in, her face red with fury, not even bothering to knock. Perfect timing, Andy said calmly, pulling out his phone to record. Mrs. Weber, would you like to explain why you're entering my client's property without permission? Ava froze mid-stride, her mouth open, caught like a deer in headlights. Client? What's going on here? Divorce proceedings, I said calmly, enjoying her shock. Don't worry, Ava. I'm sure Summer can cook all your holiday meals from now on. I heard her Christmas dinner was memorable. Something about burnt ham and store-bought sides. You ungrateful, Ava started, her face turning even redder, but Andy cut her off smoothly. Every word you say is being recorded, ma'am, for legal purposes. Choose your words very carefully. Ava's mouth snapped shut, her lips pressed into a thin line of rage and disbelief. Raymond just sat there, staring at the papers, looking smaller somehow, diminished. I'll give you 3 days to review everything with your lawyer, I said, gathering my things and preparing to leave. After that, we proceed whether you're ready or not, just like you proceeded with Christmas plans whether I was ready or not. Like you proceeded with Christmas? Ava snapped, finding her voice again. You mean like you abandoned your family on Christmas? Exactly like that, I smiled, feeling no guilt, only satisfaction. Quick, clean, and with plenty of options for delivery. As we left, I heard Ava starting to cry, her sobs dramatic and loud. Raymond was trying to comfort her, his voice low and soothing. Let them comfort each other. Let them finally understand what it feels like to be disappointed, to have expectations shattered, to be left dealing with a mess not of their making. I had my own peace to protect now, my own life to rebuild. Well, Andy said as we drove away, a slight smile on his professional face. That went better than expected. No one threw anything, no physical altercations. They're probably saving that for the next holiday, I replied, watching the house disappear behind us. But I won't be there to witness it or clean it up. My phone buzzed, a text from Ree. How'd it go? Need me to post bail? No bail needed, I replied, smiling. Just freedom papers in progress. Want to help me house hunt? Already found 3 listings, she responded immediately. All with kitchens you'll never have to cook holiday dinners in. All with deadbolts your in-laws don't have keys to. I smiled, feeling lighter with every mile between me and that house, between me and that life. They wanted tradition? I was starting a new one. A tradition of putting myself first, of respecting my own boundaries, of refusing to be anyone's servant. And this tradition didn't come with a side of family drama. The cafe was quiet for a Sunday morning, the kind of peaceful quiet I'd been craving for years. I sipped my coffee slowly, watching Ava and Raymond fidget across the table. They'd begged for this meeting through my lawyer, promising to make things right, whatever that meant. Well, I set down my cup with deliberate calm. You wanted to talk. Talk. We miss you, Ava said, her voice lacking its usual commanding tone. She looked older somehow, diminished. The family isn't the same without you. Things feel incomplete. You mean dinner isn't the same without me? I pulled out my phone, opening Reddit. Have you seen this? It's gone viral. Over 50,000 upvotes now. Their faces paled as I turned the screen toward them. The post title read, Am I the jerk for leaving my family with takeout menus on Christmas after they demanded I cook 2 weeks post-surgery? You posted about us? Raymond stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. Anonymously. I scrolled through the comments, reading a few aloud. NTA. They treated you like a servant, not family. The takeout menu wallpaper is legendary. I hope she never cooks for them again. People are fascinated, especially the part about making someone cook 2 weeks after major abdominal surgery while calling them dramatic. Ava's hands trembled around her untouched coffee. That's private family business. You had no right. Was it private when you tried to get my doctor in trouble? I interrupted. When Summer posted about me on Facebook calling me mentally unstable? When Corbin shared those mocking texts with his golf buddies about my dramatic recovery? When Raymond's coworkers found out and he got suspended? The door chimed. Ree walked in right on schedule, carrying a folder full of additional documentation. Perfect timing, I said. Did you bring the papers? All here. Ray sat down beside me, spreading out documents across the table. Hospital bills, screenshots, ring camera transcripts, everything that wasn't included in the Reddit post. Including some new evidence. Turns out Ava's been telling people at her bridge club that Victoria faked the surgery for attention. What? I looked at Ava, who had the decency to look ashamed. You told people I faked surgery? I didn't mean... She started, but Ree cut her off. We have witnesses, Ray said. 3 of your bridge club members were horrified enough to reach out to Victoria directly. They're willing to provide statements. What do you want? Raymond asked quietly, looking defeated. What will it take to fix this? Nothing. I leaned back, feeling the strength in my fully healed abdomen. The divorce is almost final. The house sold for above asking price. I'm not here for anything except to say goodbye properly, to close this chapter of my life. Goodbye. Ava's voice cracked, real emotion showing through for the first time. But what about holidays? What about family traditions? I'm sure Summer can handle them, I said, though I'd heard through the grapevine that her Christmas dinner had been a complete disaster. Something about burnt ham, undercooked potatoes, and store-bought desserts? Raymond shifted uncomfortably. Mom had to order pizza at 9 p.m. Everyone was starving. Karma's interesting that way. I pulled out one final paper, a check. Here's your half of the house sale, Ray. Andy suggested meeting in public to hand it over. Consider this our final financial transaction. You're really doing this? Ava whispered, tears forming in her eyes. Throwing away family over one dinner? Over one mistake? No. I met her eyes steadily, my voice firm and clear. I'm valuing myself over years of being treated like staff. There's a difference. This wasn't about one dinner. This was about every holiday, every demand, every time you dismissed my pain and called me dramatic. The Reddit post has 50,000 upvotes now, Ree commented, checking her phone, and it's been picked up by several online magazines. People really love the takeout menu wallpaper part. Someone even created a meme. Ava stood abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. This is ridiculous. Raymond, tell her this is ridiculous. Tell her she's being overdramatic again. But Raymond just stared at the check, then at me, really seeing me perhaps for the first time in years. I'm sorry, he said finally, his voice heavy with regret. I should have helped more, protected you more, listened to you. Yes, I agreed simply. You should have. It's not too late, Ava insisted desperately. We can fix this. Summer's already apologized. Summer sent me a text saying, sorry you're so sensitive, LOL. I corrected. That's not an apology. That's not even proper spelling. That's mockery disguised as reconciliation. My phone buzzed with another Reddit notification. More awards, more comments, more people sharing their own stories of family exploitation. You've inspired quite a movement, Ree said proudly. People are calling it the Christmas takeout revolution. There are support groups forming for people dealing with demanding in-laws. You've become a symbol. Ava sank back into her chair, completely defeated. What will people think? What will I tell my friends? They'll think exactly what happened, I said, standing up and gathering my things. That you pushed too hard, demanded too much, and finally faced consequences. The divorce will be final next week. Don't contact me after that. But, Ava started, reaching across the table. No, I cut her off firmly, pulling my hand away. No more buts, no more demands, no more guilt trips. I'm done serving everyone else's needs while ignoring my own. Raymond finally spoke again, his voice small. What about my needs? What am I supposed to do now? Order takeout, Ree and I said simultaneously, sharing a smile. We left them there, surrounded by the evidence of their own behavior, holding a check instead of a daughter-in-law. Ava was crying openly now, her sobs filling the quiet cafe. Raymond looked lost, staring at the check like it was a foreign object. Outside, the spring air was fresh and clean, full of possibilities. My phone buzzed again with another comment notification. Want to check what they're saying? Ree asked. No need, I smiled, feeling the sun on my face, warm and welcoming. I know exactly what happened. I was there. I served the karma. I lived the revolution. Speaking of serving, Ree grinned, guess what I found out? Summer's hosting Easter this year. Ava's already complaining about her cooking on Facebook. Apparently, she's not following the family recipes correctly. I laughed, really laughed, feeling nothing but freedom. They wanted tradition. They got karma. And now they can enjoy it without me. And now you get peace, Ree finished, linking her arm through mine. My phone buzzed one last time, a text from Ava, her final attempt at manipulation. Please reconsider. Family is forever. Blood is thicker than water. I typed back quickly, my fingers steady and sure. You're right. That's why I chose myself as family first. Also, the full quote is, "The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb." It means chosen family matters more than biological family. Goodbye, Ava. Then I blocked her number, blocked Summer's number, blocked all of them. I linked arms with Ree and walked away from the cafe without looking back, without hesitation, without regret. Behind us, Raymond and Ava sat with their cold coffee and hot consequences, finally understanding that actions have repercussions, that people have limits, that servants eventually quit. And me? I had a life to live, one deliciously free of holiday obligations and family-sized servings of guilt, one where I chose my own traditions, set my own boundaries, respected my own needs. After all, the best revenge isn't just served cold. Sometimes it's not served at all. Sometimes it's walking away and letting them starve for the appreciation they never gave, the respect they never showed, the kindness they never returned. I touched my surgery scar one last time through my shirt, feeling the healed tissue beneath the fabric. It would leave a mark, a permanent reminder of this chapter of my life. But scars are just proof that we survived, that we healed, that we're stronger than whatever tried to break us. And I was stronger now, stronger, freer, and finally putting myself first. The takeout menus were theirs to keep. The memories were mine to release. And the future? The future was mine to write, one peaceful, drama-free day at a time. Happy New Year to me, and to all my former in-laws. Me. Lifetime of cooking their own damn dinners.